Russell Wilson listed as quarterback one on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as one, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receiver. 7 bona fide pass targets. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on Sports Grid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Schoen back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on Sports Grid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Welcome in, Game Time Decisions, live right here on Sports Grid, Sunday style. This actually will be the last Game Time Decisions on a Sunday for quite some time. Football season's about to be in full effect. I'm Kevin Walsh with you right here. We've got 2 hours to churn and burn. I guess, should have let everybody kind of get a full sense of the programming style here. Yesterday we started college football. Today, really fun show. Week 0 delivered. Any slander on that slate is owed an apology, so an apology. CFT is going to be holding it down on Saturdays. Next week on Sunday, we're going to give you a special edition of college football today with the fallout from that big Saturday slate and a big-time look ahead at the huge USC-LSU game that's in Vegas that night and a little bit of the Monday night juice that we have, which will be Boston College against Florida State. Who did lose yesterday, which was a monster result. We're going to talk about that to shake up what that means because there is definitely fallout from that one. And then the following Sunday, you'll be into your Pro Football Today schedule. It'll be NFL Week 1. Me, Donnie, Joe Lisi will be right back at it, man. So cannot wait for all that here. Since I mentioned football, let's do a little football. We do have 3 preseason games. And I'll just mention yesterday's preseason slate, where we again get a mixed bag. And this continues to be one of the more puzzling things to me about the state of NFL preseason, because I know there's a lot of people who talk about, oh man, is preseason done? Is preseason dead? Why is it like this? I understand the sentiment, right? At the end of the day, if an NFL team is on your screen, you want to have a reason to watch it, at least for a while. And there were point in times where you used to be able to bank on preseason guys playing, and things shift, right? But my thing is, when we are so quick to say, man, like the preseason's a mess, I don't feel like that is attacking it from the right angle. For me, I can't believe how little agreement there is league-wide on whether or not you should be playing your guys in preseason. Yesterday, the Carolina Panthers finally let Bryce Young go out there and spin and rip. His opening drive was 12 plays, 85 yards. He puts up a touchdown. 6 of 8, 70 yards and a score. 8.8 yards per pass attempt. Now, does that mean that Bryce Young's about to have this awesome, great breakout year? Maybe. Possible. First overall selection. It was nice to see. It was the only action that we were given from Bryce Young. Seattle yesterday goes out there, lets Geno Smith get a drive on the board. 65 yards, throws a touchdown pass to DK Metcalf. 4 or 5, kind of, quick work. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions never put, not once, Jared Goff on the field. They still win 24-17 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is just fascinating that this is how this goes. It's just so abnormal, I feel, to see this little agreement. The Chiefs throw Mahomes out there for the first 2 preseason games. Josh Allen gets, 1 preseason rep. We never see Jalen Hurts, right? We don't see Dak Prescott. It's just such a... Trey Lance yesterday threw 5 picks. That was interesting. It's one of those things that remains fascinating. So you kind of look at today's preseason slate. You've got the Saints catching 6 at home. Now it looks like to the Tennessee Titans. That number's been on the move here. Let me get your most up-to-date numbers. 5.5 Saints-Titans right now. Total's climbing a little bit there, 37.5. The Broncos are going to check in field goal favorite here over the Arizona Cardinals. That total pretty low, though. 34.5s are down to 33.5. And then late night, it's New England laying 6 and a hook at this point in time over the Washington Commanders. The Patriots are on the road in that game, and a total at 36.5. Of this bunch here, my eye is still drawn a little bit towards some unders. We did see some explosions, though, yesterday on the slate. Panthers-Bills, 31-26. I mentioned that late-night Seattle game, which was 37-33. We saw the Chargers-Cowboys game get to 45 points. We saw 41 points from Lions-Steelers. So it wasn't kind of, free ticket unders that we had grown accustomed to. The Thursday slate was double overs for the preseason action. Niners-Raiders was 24-24, and then in a tie, actually, on the Friday night slate. So it's created a little uneasiness for me heading into a preseason slate. And I know preseason football is always going to come with a level of uneasiness, but this one here is a little trickier. My eye is drawn to the Saints-Titans under to jump off here. Again, right now that number's up to 37.5. And then the Commanders-Patriots game, I am interested in Washington. I know Jaden Daniels is not expected to be playing in this game here. I still think the Commanders can, at home, hang inside this number. It's the only preseason home game Washington has had. So there's going to be probably just some desire, right, to be competitive. The New England Patriots, this is the first time they've been on the road. They're getting a little bit of a bump probably because Drake May is going to play in this one. I would look towards Washington plus the 6.5. That's kind of where I'm at right now with that NFL slate. That's just what jumps off the board to me. Let's bring up the WNBA here. We're going to have Coach James Young stop by. 2 games on this W card. It starts with the Sky and the Aces. I'm on this game here. I'm on Angel Reese under 13.5 rebounds. This is at minus 105. And we are stepping in front of what has been a runaway freight train, her rebounds prop. 20 rebounds in each of the last 2 games for Angel Reese. 20 rebounds. Since the All-Star break, she's had 15, 11, 20, and 20. So her rebounding numbers are only growing since she's come off of the extended break that led to, from the Olympics. However, it's been double unders in both games against Vegas. She had 18 and 11 in her first meeting against Aja Wilson and company, and then 13 and 10 in the second. And this is a big-time step-up spot for Vegas, for Aja, a team that has lost 3 games in 4 tries since the All-Star break. You probably would have thought Vegas will figure it out after the break, right? They have 4 players on Team USA, so they're going to stay around each other. They're loaded. They open, with a bunch of home games. Well, no. Instead, they lose to the Liberty by 12 at home. They lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves Lynx by 11 at home, and then to the Lynx again by 13 on the road. Vegas favored in all of those games. I am trying to come up with a comparison for Vegas, NBA-wise, and I am struggling to do so. I really am. I know we've seen top contenders struggle before. We've seen LeBron teams not be the 1 seed. A'ja Wilson is having, the numbers back this up, the best statistical season we've likely ever seen from a WNBA player. Yet the Vegas Aces are the biggest underachievers in the entire league. How? And we've talked to Coach about this before. He's like, if all of a sudden they start to shoot a little bit better from the outside, Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray. But what happens if A'ja comes back a little bit? And that's happened a little bit since the All-Star break. She lit up L.A. She was 24 less in the other games. An interesting spot, man. Let's talk some FSU next right here on Sports.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingstrom to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingstrom, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
If you can do it, make that double 18 away from a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on cue.
He doesn't just get 2, he gets the lot.
Should take up the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
He's shot on the 5th leg. Can Paxton deliver one of the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match. Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Back to right here on Sports Grid Sunday. Game time decisions. Yesterday, we began the college football season. A 4-0 sizzle for yours truly. So yesterday was one of those days where if you said, I'm just going to take the dogs, what a stress-free day you had. 4 games. And for the entirety of all 4 games, the underdog covered. Think about that. Not a single second in any one of those 4 games, were you seeing the favorite cover? Florida State was laying double digits. They were up 8-0, and then it immediately was 8-7. They never had that type of lead again. Montana State, crazy comeback against New Mexico. They score in the final 10 seconds to win that game. It was also 17-0. They were a near 2-touchdown favorite. They didn't cover for a second. SMU laid 27. They put up their 29th point with under a minute and a half to go in the game. They were down 24-13 heading into the fourth quarter. Again, a great comeback for SMU. They were never covering that football game. And then the late night darling, everyone's favorite, Hawaii, Delaware State. Took Hawaii a little bit to get going. They find their first touchdown. All right. Delaware State's offense, absolutely terrible. All of a sudden, a 44-yard punt return touchdown. You go, what's this game going to be? 14-7 at half, 14-14 with after Delaware State finds the end zone in the third quarter. It was a 40-point number. Hawaii scored 35. A 4-game slate where the favorites covered for 0 seconds of the slate. Glad I was on the dogs. That's all I can say about that. It also was a pretty good underslate. Only Montana State, New Mexico was over there, listed total. That game again, 35-31. But Florida State's result against Georgia Tech is obviously the story. And there's a lot of directions that you can take. It is appropriate to give Georgia Tech some credit as this team returned Haynes King and Jamal Haynes, quarterback and running back. And there were people who felt like they could certainly be spicy. Nobody really thought that they would be able to contend for the ACC. You do look at their schedule now, and you wonder, they don't play Clemson. They host Miami. Can this team get it done? Can this team win an ACC in Georgia Tech? They're not getting an at-large bid. They have to play Notre Dame. They have to go to Georgia. Ultimately, I'm not sure I would, look, I think Notre Dame's vulnerable to be upset at some point this season. I don't know if that's where it's going to be. It might be, but Georgia Tech has had their number moved. They're now 30-1 to win the ACC. Yet, still a much shorter number on Florida State, plus 600. And the saving grace for Florida State is that you can get an auto bid. You just have to win your conference. But you immediately undercut that when you realize they just lost a conference game. Clemson on Sunday, or Saturday of next week, is going to play Georgia and probably get smashed. And in some capacity, their playoff chances aren't harmed because they just need to win the ACC. That's why yesterday was such a big deal for Clemson, for Miami as the top 2 favorites in that conference. Because Florida State now has a conference loss on the schedule. And Florida State has to play both teams. Miami and Clemson do not play one another. So this is why Florida State's numbers are dropping so drastically. Now 80-1 to win a national championship for FSU. And again, the trick is, can this team get in? I did not like this team heading into this season. I thought it was a tough schedule. You look at just the first few games on the schedule, right? You go to Ireland to play Georgia Tech in conference, and then you come back for a Monday nighter against Boston College. You hit a bye week, and then you play a Memphis team that a lot of people could very well be the best in the G5. None of that screams easy. None of that screams walkover, right? This team's going to play at Charleston Southern late in the season. That's not Charleston Southern. That's competitive football. After Memphis, they'll play Cal, and then they have a 4-game stretch of at SMU, home against Clemson, at Duke, and at Miami. They could lose multiple games in that window there, without a doubt. Without a doubt. This team's margin for error, though, now is so minimal. But talking about margin for error for Florida State likely misses the point. The takeaway from them losing to Georgia Tech is not just, wow, it's going to be tough to make up that one. It's, oh, this isn't anywhere near one of the 10 best teams in college football. Look, I joke about it yesterday, okay, but, and listen, I love Joe Lisi like a brother. But he's given me stick for wanting to trust Cam Ward. And then he put his faith in DJU. It took a half of football for everybody to go, why'd we do that? Why'd we do that? I mean, I know he led the game-tying drive with some fourth down conversions. DJU's not the guy. DJU's not the guy. But that also doesn't just tell the full story. Offensive line, defensive line, Georgia Tech dominated. Georgia Tech, 5.3 yards per carry. Florida State was at 3.2. 190 yards on the ground for Georgia Tech. Just 98 yards on the ground for FSU. Florida State's going to have to what? Run the table. This is a 4-loss football team, not the college football playoff.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on
He doesn't just get two, he gets the lot.
Adam should take up the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot on the fifth leg.
Can Paxton deliver one of the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match.
14.
Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Back right here, Sports Grid's Game Time Decisions. Great to have you here on this Sunday. May I do a little quick plug for the people? Today, you know me, wrestling AEW. They're at Wembley. It's a little AEW all-in. Earlier this week on the grid, we were able to talk to Will Ospreay, who's in a big-time match. We're going to get that up for you. It's over on YouTube, man. I'm going to be tweeting that out to people in just a couple of moments. If you've got some time, if you're interested, give that a watch. Give it a click. Check us out, Sports Grid, man. Everything we got going on over on YouTube, really, really clean setup now. You can find a lot of good stuff. You can find some of the stuff from yesterday's college football today. So make sure you're in the mix with everything we've got going on there. That's where you can find the BATR podcast. I got Coach James Young right around the corner. Excited to talk some W with JY. Now, I'm sure JY would also love to talk some Major League Baseball because I just know he's a rule breaker. And the Mets are exciting. And JY, despite the fact that he attends one Yankee game per week, is a Mets fan. And I would like to just bring up the propaganda is too strong, but Jeff Passan of ESPN is now very hot on the Francisco Lindor MVP case. And why I bring that up is it serves as a reminder that MVP awards are, of course, voted on, which we all know. But when someone like Jeff Passan, who I believe has a vote, is telling people about Francisco Lindor this much, it's going to grab eyes. Francisco Lindor is plus 500 to currently win NL MVP. For comparison, Bobby Witt Jr., who's having a significantly better season in the American League, is plus 850 in his competition against Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is minus 3,000. Ohtani is minus 2,300. But also the third option in the American League, Juan Soto, is 50-1 to compare to Marcell Ozuna's 23-1. My point is, Francisco Lindor at 5-1, that's a number that gives him a puncher's chance. Francisco Lindor right now, in terms of WAR, is third in the National League. Ketel Marte is second. And despite not playing the field, Shohei Ohtani checks in first. Ohtani is attempting to become the first and only member of the 50-50 club. He, the other day, entered the 40-40 club, 40 home runs, 40 steals in the same season. I do wonder if Ohtani gets to 50-50, he's going to obviously win this. No one's going to. It's too historic. And I know that I'm talking like the Shohei number isn't minus 2,300. I'm sorry, but that's just more to do with horrific pricing. Him being minus 2,300 and the next guy being 5-1 is ridiculous. Why I worry a little, as somebody who has a bet on Ohtani, minus 105, right? Bet it when I bet it. Obviously, the numbers moved in my favor. Why I worry a little is there are some voters who probably will not want to give it to a DH. The fact that Ohtani makes up for the value so much by what he's been able to do on the base paths. He's the second leader in stolen bases in baseball behind Elly De La Cruz. Big gap, but still. He's going to finish second in home runs and second in steals in a single season. I mean, it's crazy what he's doing. But if there are people who refuse to give the award to a DH, they are going to look Francisco Lindor's direction. If there's any voter fatigue, that would work in Francisco Lindor's favor. If the Dodgers slipped up, and they've since put a little extra separation, but if they slip up in that NL West race, that could create a little bit of separation. If the Dodgers just ultimately being the Dodgers goes against Ohtani all of a sudden, they got a lot of guys. You know, Mets are fighting, clawing, scratching, getting into that playoff spot. I am still of the mind Ohtani's going to win. But he's not minus 2,300 to win this award right now. And if Francisco Lindor stays hot, the race is going to heat up. Because it already is. You've got big time names talking about it. Speaking of big time names, let's get Coach James Young in here, man. Come on now. Game time decisions. We're right back.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingstrom to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingstrom, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on cue.
He doesn't just get two, he gets the lot.
Adam should take up the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot on the fifth leg.
Can Paxton deliver one of the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match. Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the Yoki with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
All right, what do you say? Little game time decisions. We got Coach James Young in the mix on a Sunday. JY, how we feeling?
K-Dub's excited. AEW, all or nothing. Wembley Stadium. Let me set the scene for you folks real quick, because JY dabbles in the wrestling market a little bit. He just dabbles. Look for Ricochet to show up tonight. Ricochet just signed from WWE a couple of days ago. Ricochet's a big-time star. Will Ospreay wants to work with him. I think it's coming up the pipe. And Bryan Danielson, yes. Bryan Danielson will win the AEW title over Swerve. Bryan Danielson, who says he's the best wrestler in the last 20 years. I think it could be Seth Rollins, but we're close. Look for some fireworks. And by the way, folks, leave K-Dub alone today. Let him watch in peace.
I'm gonna be on a massive delay, very likely, so I gotta kind of lay low. I appreciate a lot of the breakdown. The Seth Rollins point, I strongly disagree with, but I'm going to let that be. I appreciate JY showing some love here. JY, I want to start by putting a pick on the board, although it's a pick that people have already heard. Angel Reese under 13.5 rebounds. We got the Sky and the Aces today. There's a lot to get into with this game, but tell me, why are you on Angel Reese here under the 13.5 boards in a matchup against Aja Wilson and Vegas?
Well, it's funny because I sent it to Pat Foster, the producer, Mr. Celtic himself, earlier, and then I hear Kevin on the ride in. I'm like, great minds think alike. Simply put, and Kevin laid it out perfectly. Number one, you have Angel Reese, who has had crazy numbers. I'm calling her the Moses Malone of the WNBA. Go used to watch Moses Malone in the ABA. He'd get a rebound. He'd miss the putback. Get it, score, 2 points, a rebound, go down the other way. Number one, she's gone under this number in both games against Vegas. Number two, Vegas is playing like hot trash, and someone's got to pay for what's going on with this team who lost the last two games to the Minnesota Lynx. Three, the last time they played, 93-85, they lost, and that's the game, people, if you don't remember, right before the Olympic break, when all the Aces were going to want to take a picture with Usher after the game, and Aja Wilson was pissed off. Four, speaking of Aja Wilson, who's got to guard her? Angel Reese. So to me, when you start lining up everything in regards to how Vegas is playing, how they need this win, how this has gone under the number Angel Reese in the last 2 times they faced. The fact that Angel Reese's numbers are getting Kate up. Let's be honest. This is like when Steph Curry gets out of control with his threes on a run, and they lay it at like -5.5, over under 5.5, -140 to go over it. Like, it's getting to the point where it's getting a little bit crazy here. I like this matchup in regards to the aces, in regards to how they'll play. I'm going to just go with Angel Reese going under her prop, and I expect an absolutely monumental, dominating performance by Angel Wilson. I think she's going to score at will. I think she's going to turn around, and she's going to get Angel Reese in foul trouble today.
Yeah, I myself was actually the initial thing I wanted to look at was the Aja points, but at 27.5, it didn't seem like we were getting any type of discount, so I pulled back on that. Now, with that said, Aja Wilson, I know I've talked a lot about Aja winning MVP while Vegas is struggling. Let's move the MVP award for a second. When you and I have talked about, hey, man, why has Vegas kind of not been as good? You've mentioned the shooting, right? To which you said, hey, what if they start to shoot it a little bit better? One thing I've referenced a little bit, and we're going to get into it more now, is what if Aja Wilson comes back? And that is said with acknowledging how great she has been. Aja Wilson's first half was legendary. She is still having a legendary season. She is on pace for the most points per game in a single season, the second most rebounds per game in a single season, while being possibly the best defensive player in the league. However, it is fair that comes back a bit. If instead of averaging 27.5, 28 a game, she averages 24, well, that would be understandable. JY, since the All-Star break, 24 against the Liberty, 15 against Minnesota, 24 against Minnesota. She had 34 against the Sparks. She absolutely gave him work. But the thing is, and again, I'm not trying to put all of this on Aja. What I'm saying, JY, this team was underachieving while she was in the middle of the best season we've maybe ever seen. So what if Aja, instead of having the best season we've ever seen, just is the best player in the league? I don't know if this team can survive if she isn't historically great.
No, they can't. And it goes back to what we talked about. Like, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray must be far better from the three-point line. They've lost depth. They don't have Darica Hamby anymore. They lost Candace Parker. So they're not. Everyone else, Kevin, is not playing at the ferocity, at least the shooting splits. So you need one or two things to happen. You need Aja to keep up what she's doing, or you got to get everyone else to come up. And I will say this. Even if Aja stays where she is, Kevin, I don't think, and I'm not saying that she can't keep up. I'm saying the rest of those jokers have to keep up. And I think they have to be the ones that to play far better. Now, you make a good point when you look at Aja Wilson and you look at the fact that she is scoring, she's come out of the break a little bit less than what she was before. But I would argue, Minnesota, Connecticut, New York are the three best WNBA teams defensively in the league. And she saw 3 of the 4 games were against them. So I do think that, we're going to get a better performance. If you look at Aja Wilson and her performances versus Chicago, right before the All-Star break, 28-14. Then you look at the 31-6. The tough thing is you're right about the points, but if you try to go points and rebounds together, I think it's 37.5 on FanDuel. And that's just, Kevin, that's really, really tight for me, the points and rebounds. But if I think that Angel Reese is going to go under her rebounds, The person blocking her out is going to be Asia Wilson. So I think if I'm going under Reese, there's got to be a thought of going over with Asia Wilson. So I'm going to look at Asia Wilson over 11.5 rebounds. It has a plus 102. I wish it was a little bit lower. I wish it was over 10.5, a little bit of minus money. If you want 10 plus rebounds, it's minus 260, so you're not there. Either you wait till game time, hope that 11.5 goes down to 10.5 and minus money, and then go over. I think she gets to 11, 12 rebounds today because I think she neutralizes Angel Reese, and I think she's going to be in a bad mood.
We've seen the Vegas Aces odds to win the WNBA championship shift back now considerably. Not only no longer the favorites, but this team now checks in at plus 270 to win the WNBA championship. However, it's still half the number that the Minnesota Lynx are at plus 550. But Minnesota's been cut down a lot, and so have the Connecticut Sun, who check in at plus 500. We've seen movement in this market. We have. And it's understandable to see that type of movement. Some of it came from yesterday's results. Sun win in New York, and the Lynx put another victory on the board, going up against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. I want to ask Coach about those two games, what he thought about those results, as well as Sparks Wings, which is coming up later tonight. Keep it locked in with you right here on Sports Grid.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingstrom to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingstrom, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on,
He doesn't just get two, he gets the lot.
Adam should take it with 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
He shot on the fifth leg.
Can Paxton deliver in the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match. Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
We're on the grid. Game time decisions. Kevin Walsh, joined by Coach James Young. JY, you mentioned Minnesota. Yesterday, they got a win over the Indiana Fever. But before that, we saw the Connecticut Sun take down the New York Liberty. What's your reaction from a road victory for Connecticut against the WNBA's best team?
After it happened, I wasn't shocked. Simply put, folks, it's incredibly hard to beat a team 4 straight times, right, Kevin? And New York beat them 3 times. But, Kevin, they weren't blowouts. Like, I remember one of the games was like a 1 or 2 point game inside of 2 minutes. So I'm not shocked I thought I would get Jonquel Jones double-double. I had a friend that I know really well that's involved in the league that kind of talks about Jonquel has these moments where she plays really hard, plays well, and then she fades off. I mean, yesterday, Jonquel Jones, first half, you're like, she's about to get, 20 and 15. Ends up with 10 points and 8 rebounds. But to me, it was the story of a couple of things. Number one, Sabrina Ionescu, who missed the 2 earlier games of the week, comes back 3 of 13, 2 of 12, 12 points, minus 11. And that's why you probably saw folks, her numbers shift dramatically in the MVP race. Because you got to remember, the last time she played Connecticut, she dropped 30. Game before that, she dropped 21. Game before that, she dropped 24. So the biggest reason why they didn't win is probably that Sab was off. But she missed a couple of games and she's been battling injury. Got to also remember yesterday, no Benajelani Hamilton. That's their 3-and-D person. She's a critical part of that lineup. So Sab doesn't play well. Jonquel kind of floats in and out of the game. No Laney Hamilton. That's all in New York. But for me, Connecticut is trying to figure out how to do this lineup. And they've been juggling it around, and maybe, Kevin, they found it. Shorter rotation. Only went 9 deep. Brought Marina Mabrey off the bench. And this is why she got him. They got her. Simply put, 2 out of 5 from 3. She was the only one, Kevin, to make a 3 on the entire roster, right? 15 points. But when you go look at Marina, who happens to be from Manasquan, when she plays New York, she usually plays well. Other games this year, 21, 12, and 7, 15, 3, and 6. Both of those games, she had 4 3-pointers made. Other game, 15, 6, and 5. Kevin, this is why they got Marina Mabrey was yesterday. The ability to knock down the 3 and be an absolute dog on the other end of the floor. If they can figure out their perimeter shooting, their defense is more than willing to carry them to a title. The problem is, besides Marina, Kevin, I don't trust any of them to shoot the ball.
Yeah, I think for me the takeaway is they got to win, and that's great. They're not going to consistently be able to beat the Liberty in a series scoring 72. I think we've seen now for Connecticut that first game with Mabrey, that was awesome. That is not who they are. It's not close to who they are. They scored 109, and since then they've scored 70, 69, 82, 72. This is just still, for some reason, a team. I know they play a little bit slower, but they just do not have the offensive pop, I think, to consistently hang at the top of this league, certainly with the Liberty. What about Minnesota, JY? They got this win against the Indiana Fever. I think for the Fever, they hung well. They kind of got jumped on. They lost that first quarter by 13. They did make it a 1-point game heading into the break, but the Lynx at home were able to extend here and move to 14-3 on the season in their building. What did you take away from that game?
That if we want to say that Vegas is not the second best team is Minnesota. And they're a very good defensive team, but they showed a different way of playing by getting off to a really good start, up by 13 at the first quarter, getting punched in the mouth in the second, and being down, I think, only 1 at the break, but slowly extended that game, winning by 6 in the third, 3 in the fourth. And Napheesa Collier was from Napheesa Collier. I think the bigger thing for them is number one, Kayla McBride had not, to me, played particularly well shooting the ball from 3. Now, she did have 3 makes versus her last game versus Vegas, but she was 1 of 4, 1 of 8, 2 of 8 before those games. So they got her on lock, Kevin, and that allows them to play that inside-outside game. They're really good. They play the right way. Napheesa is, right now, you could say, Asia, Stewie, Napheesa, 1, 2, 3 as the best players in the world. You and I have been on Napheesa Collier since early in the year. When it comes down to Indiana, they just, you got what you got out of 3 out of your 4. NaLyssa Smith was the one that did not play well. Now, I still like this team. I think they're incredibly dangerous. I think Caitlin Clark played really well with 23-8 and 5. To me, it comes down to when we get closer to the playoffs, where does Indiana slide in? Like, where are they? Are they going to be a 6 or a 7? Who are they matched up against? Because I do think, Kevin, if they get the right matchup, I think they could steal a series. I really think they are. Right now, they're 7th. They're 2.5. I think they're 2.5 behind Phoenix. So right now, that's them in Connecticut. Kevin, people may think I'm crazy. That's a good matchup for them because they struggle to shoot the ball from 3. It's going to be a low-scoring game. And if Caitlin can go off, she could steal something for you. I like them right now in that 7-2 spot, and I wouldn't be stunned. And if they played them, I'm sure W would love it, if they stole that first round in the 2-7 matchup.
I see the Lynx, I see the Fever, and I just get a little frustrated at myself that I played the Fever title ticket and not the Lynx. Minnesota's win total was 17.5. They're 22-8. They have completely stunned the books with how good they've been this season, and currently have seen their title odds shift quite a bit, suggesting they are a legit contender. Coach sticks around. We're going to hit that wing sparks of the game next on Sports Radio.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on,
He doesn't just get 2, he gets the lot.
Adam should take up the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot on the 5th leg.
Can Paxton deliver one of the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match. Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Back, game time decisions. Coach James Young, JY, the Dallas Wings, the LA Sparks at 4 o'clock. A 6-22 team is a 6.5-point favorite against an LA Sparks team that has been struggling, big time losers of 6 in a row. That has actually now put the LA Sparks with the worst record in the W. What do you see here, JY?
Kevin, I'm kind of, like, I hate to say this, I'm kind of stunned that they're 6.5-point favorites. I know that they're injured. Obviously, the Sparks and Sabally obviously is back. Obviously, Maddie Seagrass is back. But here's the bigger thing. They don't play no damn defense. Just want people to just listen to this. 71, 94, 109, 93, 87, 100, 104, 82, 104, 95, 97, 88, 92, 97. The team total over for the Sparks is 81.5. The Sparks just played them a couple of weeks right before the Olympic break, and they scored 87. Other game they scored 72, and the other game they scored 84. Kurt Miller's a really good coach, and as they've gotten the girls back, Latricia Trammell isn't playing slower, Kevin. They're playing faster because of Sabley's ability to get in transition, and we know Arike is going to push it anytime they want. I don't know where this game ends up and who wins and who loses. I just know that Dallas ain't going to play defense. They're going to try and score a ton, and I think LA can score enough to keep up. I'm going to go with the LA Sparks team total over 81.5 points today.
I think it's really interesting to see what it looks like for Dallas at home. The games they've played since the break are against Connecticut and then 2 against the Liberty, and both of those Liberty games on the road. Satou Sabally has been unbelievable since she's returned for Dallas, and it certainly takes some of the pressure off Arike Gumbawale, who has struggled somewhat with efficiency throughout this season, and that's something that needs to uptick. But if Arike can get that efficiency going, I think she could get over our points prop in this game, which is 20.5. JY, these are the 2 worst records right now in the WNBA. These are 2 teams that are going to have a pretty good chance to win the lottery next year, and that very likely means that they would end up drafting Paige Bueckers. Of Dallas and LA, of those 2 possible landing spots, would you prefer one to the other for Paige Bueckers next season to have that immediate impact?
Well, it's about how much she's going to have the ball in her hands, Kevin, because you're looking at 2 completely different teams, right? If you put Paige with Dallas, remember, folks, the number 1 pick, if I'm not mistaken, in the lottery is based on the fact of the last 2 regular season records combined. Mm-hmm. So if you put Paige in LA, hopefully Cameron Brink comes back, Dorica Hamby is there, there's your 4-5, and Rickea Jackson, who we love, Kevin, who could score, is your 3. So now you got Paige in a spot where she should have the ball dominantly a lot, run the pick-and-roll game where she's very effective, but she's got people that can score in the low post, high-low with Hamby and obviously Cameron Brink, but also Rickea that can go get a bucket. You flip it to the other side, and it's Arike and it's Satou. Both of them, because of the style of play that they play, Kevin, they need the ball in their hands. I'm going to say this. If Bueckers goes 1, Arike is going to get traded. They're going to trade one of them because the ball's not going to fit with the 3 of them together. If it's LA, I love it because of what's around her. If it's Dallas, I think someone gets moved. I think you can move Arike because she's a top 10 player. She can fetch you a return, and you build it with a 1-4 combination of obviously Satou Sabally and Paige Bueckers.
I don't know if they would trade her. I think they would at minimum give him a year, JY, to see. I know that this is a little unfair, big market bias. Like Dallas is a big city, but I think Paige Bueckers just playing in LA for the Sparks. Maybe that's me growing up with Lisa Leslie being the biggest star in the league. I feel like that would be good. I feel like that would be exciting. I think the league would be really, really, really jazzed up by that. If you believe in these things being fixed, the Sparks then are going to win the lottery. That's just how that goes. Coach James Young always helping us out here. Get set for a big-time slate WNBA. Up next, we keep the right going here with you on Sports Critics Game Time.